What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be doing a tier list of the best overall players in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM, lads. We are going to be doing a tier list of, well, some of the best players, and there's going to be some kind of weak players in here as well. So we're going to go S all the way to worthless, and we're going to have an E tier, so an extra tier. And we've got about 100 or so players. So, have I used all of these players? Mostly. I've used almost all these guys. And the guys that I haven't, I'm judging by stats. But I'm looking at these guys, whether it be draft, or other scenarios. How many of these I haven't used? It's a very low number. It's a very low number of these guys that I've not used actually so far this year. So, anyway. Now, let's get on to it. Channing Frye. Channing Frye shoots the lights out. Channing Frye can shoot the ball super, super well. His movement is mediocre. His shot blocking is not terrible. He gets like goal limitless spot up, which doesn't matter now, but I think it will matter soon. But he can shoot from very, very deep. I do think that it will matter quite soon in MyTEAM because I think 2K are updating that badge. So I think it will be very, very interesting. But yeah, so Frye in here at C tier I think is a completely fair spot for him. You want to put him higher, it's fine. You want to put him lower, that's fine. Darryl Dawkins. Now Darryl Dawkins is somebody that I have not much experience with and I have not used, but I've looked at his stats. He's kind of like meh. He's kind of like, imagine like Shaq, but much worse. That's pretty much it. Like, he's very not big. I think D tier might be a bit low. Maybe it's just because he's bad for what he is, which is a unbelievably difficult to get reward. But, I mean, for a pink diamond, he's really not up to much. He does not do much except dunk the ball. And we've all played this game enough to know that dunking the ball, while yeah, it's like it's a stat that does matter, it's not the be all and end all because, well, an awful lot of people just straight up can't or will just get swatted every single time. You can get lucky with some animations, but you're still getting swatted about 30% of the time. D Brown. I'm gonna put D Brown in D tier. I don't like D Brown. I know a lot of people really do like him, because he does dunk the ball well. He shoots the ball really well. For me, D Brown actually, like if you're talking pure shooting wise, I think D Brown is one of the better shooting point guards in the game. For me, he just feels so slow. I don't know what it is. Like I have him evoed fully up. I've used him both evoed, non-evoed. He just feels so slow anytime I use him. So I'm gonna put D Brown in D tier. Then we got Allen Houston. We got Corey Kispert, poor man's Corey Kispert. If you guys did not see the video earlier, man, Corey Kispert's so damn good. Allen Houston is basically, no, he's basically like slight Dale Ellis 2.0. Maybe slightly worse Dale Ellis. So I'm going to go B tier because Dale Ellis is fantastic. Definitely, there is bias against him because he's so difficult to get. Right now, you would spend a lot of money to get him, but I don't rate him that highly as a card. So Allen Houston, I'm pretty sure he's just a worse statistics-wise Dale Ellis. Wiggins. Now Wiggins is I'm putting Wiggins in A tier. Dude's a 6'8" small forward, which is really, really good height. That base 22 is so cash. His movement is really good. Everything about Wiggins is good. Like, I'm trying to think of, is there a flaw with Wiggins? His 3-point rating is not the highest, but like, I think maybe he might get moved down to B, but for now, I'm going to put Wiggins in A tier. Anthony Simons. As much as I love Anthony Simons, I'm going to go C tier. There are just better players. Like, I think he was A tier for 2 guards, and I still stand by that. But I think in terms of overall players, we're looking C tier. We're looking maybe at a push B tier. I do personally believe Simons was quite a bit better than D Brown. Anthony Edwards. I don't mind Anthony Edwards. I really don't. I think D tier is probably fair for him. His release, base 80 is good. I don't care what anyone says. Base 80, it's not like it's absolutely god tier like it was, like it is, like it's going to be when it's on quick and very quick. because base 80 was so good last year. I'm telling you, when that release, you don't even need release on very quick. Like, I've been shooting around with Kispert or Ray Allen on quick. Ray Allen on quick this year feels like Ray Allen on very quick last year. So you don't even need release on very quick anymore. But Edwards is going D tier. No question about that. Gilmore. I'm putting big body artists in B tier. He is like, if you can't afford Shaq, get either him or Dikembe. And I'm not talking about Dime Dikembe. I'm talking about Ruby Dikembe. He is like 90% of Shaq. He is a tactical downgrade to Shaquille O'Neal. Like, everyone has these like gaunt squads with Shaq, but like, he is the tactical downgrade for him. He's without question a tactical downgrade, and for me, a brilliant card in this game if you are cool with inside centers, and they kind of are the meta. I legitimately think Artis Gilmore is one of the best centers in the game, but again, he can't shoot, so he's gonna go B tier. Blake. So I just realized I've got two cats. I only got one version of all these guys. Let's move cat to the end. But Blake, I'm gonna put Blake in A tier, and I get it. Blake gets eaten alive by Gilmore, but Blake also destroys Gilmore on the other end. I really like Blake's release. He's the first true point center in the game. He's unbelievably unique in what he does in this game. He is a one of a kind, so I'm gonna put him in A tier. There are no comparisons. Like, I have Draymond and I have Siakam. They are not comparisons to Blake in terms of his ability to handle the ball. With his dribble 6, with that pro one behind the back, with that bronze quick first step that he comes with, like, Blake really is. He is that true point center. Like, for me, I know he has 50 auto quickness. So defensively, he's not it. But just because he does something that's so different to everyone else, I'm going to put him in A tier. If you struggle with him on defense and you want to put him in B tier, that's fine. That's fine. He's definitely not any lower than B, but I'm going to put Blake in A. Okay, Bob Cousy. I'm going to put Cousy in A. I actually don't mind the Chris Paul release. I've gotten used to it at this stage. I hated it at the start. I've gotten used to it, so I actually rate Chris Paul very, very highly. I think Paul is definitely better than Cousy, but Cousy surprised me. Just the shifty dribble style, a release that I could green with quite consistently. Really good speed, superb defense. Bob Cousy is incredible, and also he's at a height where mismatch expert Chris Paul can't abuse that. Like, Chris Paul with mismatch expert can abuse even 6'4" defenders. So having a Bob Cousy in your team does help for Hall of Fame mismatch expert CP3. Just so you can guard ball. Bob McAdoo. I'm putting Bob McAdoo in worthless purely for one reason alone. There are definitely worse players. But like, you only need one Amethyst token reward, and he is so much worse than Serge Ibaka, Steven Jackson, and Fred Brown, and Junior Bridgman. He is the worst by a mile. Like, people have slept on Junior Bridgman because people are like, oh yeah, Steven Jackson's good. We all know about Serge, Fred Brown's Kyrie. But like, Junior Bridgman's pretty good. Bob McAdoo is so far the worst of all them. Like, if anyone picked Bob McAdoo, I would question your sanity. I legitimately would question whether you were sane or not. Unless you did a Blaze and you got every single token reward. I legitimately question your sanity if you chose Bob McAdoo. So, Bob Pettit. I love Pettit. I'm putting him in A tier. Pettit's so good, man. He's so chicken. Set shot 14. Ty, if you're reacting to this, you will learn. You will learn if you ever get Bob Pettit and throughout this year. Set shot 14 is, and always has been, a brilliant release in my team. The only problem ever with set shot 14 was that you couldn't shoot from the corners on current gen. It was always easy to green, and this Bob Pettit's no different. He rebounds unbelievably well. He blocks shots well. His lateral's like 40 something, but it doesn't feel too bad. So many times, again, especially in TTO, he's been switched on to point guards. He's kept up with them. No brainer, A tier. Bojan Bogdanovic. Like, I don't dislike this card. I don't love this card, but I think he's really, really good as a stretch four. I don't feel like I've used him enough to say that he does not feel that much worse than Draymond Green. I'm going C tier for Bojan Bogdanovic. Is he as good as Draymond? No. Hence why you guys know Draymond's going to B tier. But he doesn't feel that much worse than Draymond Green. he doesn't feel that much worse than Siakam. Like, he's got a good release. He's got great defense. Good lateral. He's got everything. He's got absolutely everything. So, I'm going to go C tier for Bojan. Brad, B. Brad Doherty is very, very solid as a B tier player. So, his shooting is pretty good. He will hit 3-pointers. Especially from the corners. Midi, he's cash. He got half post spin. Really good inside player. Not the greatest shot blocker, but offensively one of the best centers in the game, so he's going B tier. Then, Bradley Beal. Beal, I don't know B or C, because defensively, this guy is one of the worst defensive players I've used in the game. Like, he is like almost Kyrie level bad on defense. I'm going to go B tier, purely because of how good a shooter he is. But I'm putting it out there. I don't think Bradley Beal is better than Corey Kispert. Like, you guys might call me crazy. You guys may call me crazy. Corey Kispert is taller, 80 lateral quickness, 89 3-ball, Ray Allen release on quick, and has, like, actually not, or an absolutely horrific defender. So, for me, like, I do not have Corey Kispert. Go Corey Kispert's in B tier for me. He really is. Go Corey Kispert's in B tier. Like, I don't think... Yes, Dale Ellis is better than Corey Kispert. No question about it. But, like, Dale Ellis is also better than Allen Houston. He's the worst. Corey Kispert would be the worst player. No, Corey Kispert's better than Bradley Beal. I'm putting it out there. Just like Gold Dennis Smith Jr. is better than, like, half the Amethyst point guards. Gold Corey Kispert is better than half the Amethyst guards. Cade Cunningham. I think Cade is pretty good. Cade is like really bad perimeter defense, but he's 6'8" with high lateral, so he actually plays good defense. He's got a good release. His dunking is pretty good. He's got good speed. Dribbling's not the greatest, but this stage in the game, Cade's gonna go C tier. Calvin Murphy. This dude's one of the worst players in the game. He's literally here just to kind of like be the poster boy at bottom tier. He is horrific. He's terrible. Okay, Karis LeVert. I do not rate him that highly. I've used him a few times. I think Bojan's better. I'm just gonna put it out there. I know most people think the opposite. Most people would say Karis LeVert's better than Bojan. I actually think Bojan's better than Karis. I think Karis LeVert's handle is pretty decent. At base 70 on quick, I just can't get the timing down. He's 6'6", small forward. Not bad length, not great length either. But I'm going to go D tier for Karis LeVert. I prefer Cade Cunningham. If you're asking me who I would rather run, Karis or Cade Cunningham, I'd take Cade. Hence why I literally just sold Karis LeVert yesterday. So Chris Paul, S. S tier. Mismatch, half mismatch expert. That is what separates Chris Paul from Bob Cousy. If someone is near you, if somebody tries to put like a Kawhi on you, you just shoot the ball in their face. It is so difficult to stop. I've came up against some guys running CP3 a few times. And yeah, CP3 can kind of be abused a little bit on the defense because he's 6 foot tall. Dude's literally... I remember because I matched up Darius Miles onto the one to stop switching on screens. And it was just bang, bang, bang. And then I swapped Darryl Griffith onto him. Bang, bang, bang. And then eventually, I can't remember, was it Cousy I might have swapped onto him? And Cousy finally clamped him. But like, he literally, that badge forces you to use a small guard and put him on Chris Paul. So it kind of negates the fact that Chris Paul's a small guard because you kind of have to guard him with a small guard, otherwise you're screwed. But yeah, CP3, he's incredible. Cliff Hagan. Cliff Hagan does everything well. Cliff Hagan does B tier. Cliff Hagan does everything well, and I was very, very low on this guy initially. I'm not the biggest fan of his release, but like, I'm hearing from people that they love his release, and if you love his release, he does everything else well. A little bit undersized. He is a little bit undersized, but that's it. Defends, runs, shoots, occasionally dunks. What else do you need? Dale Ellis, A. Dale Ellis, really, really good. A great shooter, a great ball handler, or like a mediocre ball handler, a mediocre defender. Dale Ellis versus Mitch Richmond literally all depends on what you need. If you run through your point guard or a different position and you need a spot-up shooter to play some defense, Dale Ellis is better than Mitch Richmond. If you need someone to handle the ball and be an offensive threat with the ball in their hand, it's Mitch Richmond's better than Dale Ellis. So it all depends. Dame. I'm not as high on Dame as I once was. I'm gonna go. I'm still gonna go B tier, but not as high as I once was. We have a lot of point guards that I just now believe are just better than them in the game. D'Lo. I'm sorry if people are annoyed at this one. I'm putting D'Angelo Russell in E tier. Like, if you're asking me who I would prefer, D'Lo or LeVert or Anthony Edwards, I'm taking LeVert and Anthony Edwards. I don't know what it is with D'Angelo Russell. I think it's just that he doesn't play much defense. And for me, I really struggle. I've always really struggled with D'Angelo Russell's offensive game. So I'm going to put him into D tier right here. Don Issel, D. I'm not putting Don Issel in worthless. Because, I mean, Don Issel is kind of chicken from mid-range. His release is pretty good. And there are a lot of, like, not terrible things about Don Issel. There are also a lot of not great things about Don Issel that we can't just completely ignore. He is a very, very not good card. He's not going to go worthless. He's better than Bob McAdoo, but, I mean, he's going E. Granger, S. Granger got that unbelievable speed, a great release in 29, 6'9" at the small forward position, 7'1" wingspan, can handle the ball. Danny Granger, for me, is still like one of the best players in this game. He's exceptional. He's exceptional. And that Colossal set, like when we're doing like our ranking the promos tier list at the end of the year, I think Colossal is going to go S tier. Freaking Dame, Dr. J, Darren Williams, Shaquille O'Neal, the three rookies, Siakam, and LaMelo. That will go down as S tier. Like, Colossals to this day was better than... If you combine Flash and Signature Series, I still think maybe for the average player, Colossal might have been better. Danny Manning, E. I mean, his stats aren't great. He's fine. Saric. I like Saric. I don't love Saric. I'm going to put Saric in like low D tier. I think his release is pretty good. His post game is good. He's just a little bit slow. Darius Miles, A. I'm not putting Darius Miles in S. But I love Darius Miles. He dunks so well. His release is good. I have post spin and clamps on mine. Unless you're coming up against this dude right here. He's one of the best point guard defenders in the game. Not named Kawhi Leonard. The difference between him is that if he switches onto a center, if someone is running pick and rolls to force switches, Darius Miles can pretty much stop any other team's centers. Like, he'll do as good a job for me anyway as Bob Pettit will on Shaq if they switch. He's going there. Griffith, B. I rate Griffith fairly highly. I think he's a very solid player. I don't think he's spectacular, and that's why I'm putting in David Thompson into the same B tier as Darryl Griffith. I think Darryl Griffith and David Thompson are very, very similar players. Personal preference-wise, I'm taking Griffith over David Thompson, but I said it in my video yesterday, and I'm like, when I got David Thompson, I was like, they're the same. They're basically the same card. It's just preference. You got a few extra hot badges that don't really mean much on Griffith, and your stats are a little bit better on David Thompson. DeMar DeRozan. He's going B. DeMar DeRozan's going B tier. Like, yeah, I got it. He's got no quick first step. He's got a not great three-point rating, but dude's still going to hit threes. His dunking is pretty good. His defense is pretty good. I mean, if you want to move him down to C, that's fine. But I don't think he's bad. The best point guard in the game, Darren Williams, going to S tier. If you badge out Darren Williams, he is the best point guard in the game. Great release, 90-something three ball, plus 90 speed. He's got a 6'10 wingspan at 6'3". So he's 6'3 with silver clamps, which means mismatch expert doesn't trigger with Chris Paul. So he can guard Chris Paul. He's got that ultra long wingspan as well. I'm pretty sure he's got good on ball steal tendencies. Darren Williams, for me, is the best point guard in the game. Derrick Rose, A. I think Rose is that little bit. I think Rose versus Kuzi, they kind of do different things. Rose is your rim runner. Kuzi's kind of like your all-around player. But I personally believe that Rose is that little bit off S tier. Rose is exceptional, though. He is exceptionally good. And him versus Marbury, I think I'm taking Rose, even though I love Marbury. Dikembe Mutombo, wherever Artis Gilmore is. These two guys are very similar players. They're both just big bodies. You're going to rebound and block shots on one end and dunk the ball on the other end. In the big body, in the bigs meta, like these guys might be useless very soon. Like it takes one, and I'm not even going to say Dikembe because Dikembe is not like, if Dikembe was an Amethyst card with those same stats and everyone had Dikembe, yeah, these guys here would not be nearly as good. As soon as it comes out that like there's a stretch 5 that doesn't get eaten alive in the post and shoots the lights out and is attainable, these guys become worthless. For example, if a Kristaps comes out with like 87, 88 strength, an 85 3 ball, and good post game, suddenly these guys become irrelevant. But until that happens, they're not there. Dikembe Mutombo S, no brainer, absolute no brainer. This is a game changer. This is like freaking Shaq with a jump shot. This Dikembe is a no brainer S tier player. Draymond Green, get into B tier right now. Draymond for me is a slightly better version of Boyan. I love Draymond's release. I'm not that high on Draymond as a player. I think 6'7" is just a little bit small rebounding wise, because rebounding is fairly important for a power forward. Like, he's still my starting power forward. Don't get me wrong, he's still my starting power forward. I just am not as big a fan of him as I once was. Okay, Duncan Robinson. B. I would be very tempted to move Duncan Robinson up to A for offense. But, I mean, Duncan Robinson, he's brilliant. Like, Duncan Robinson is insane. Like, 90 driving dunk, unbelievable release, unbelievable 3-ball. Like, is Duncan Robinson better than Kispert? I don't know. I really don't. Like, I used Kispert a lot like I would use Duncan Robinson, and Kispert played equally as well. But, no, I think A tier would be too high, C tier would be too low, Duncan Robinson, B tier. Dwight Howard, C. Dwight's got the speed advantage over these guys, but he doesn't have the player build advantage. So, like, for me, he doesn't play as well in game as either of these two guys, but he's a nice, fast, big dunking center. Dwight's good. Wade. So, the way I see Wade, I'm going to put Wade in A tier. Slightly better Darryl Griffith. Slightly better. Like, I might move Wade down to B tier, honestly. I do think he's just slightly better Griffith. I think Griffith and David Thompson are like slightly better Richie Garnes. But I'm going to go A tier for him. Downtown Freddie Brown, C tier. I'm going to put Kyrie there as well. Kyrie is one of those ones where it's like, I'll explain a little bit later, but I'm putting Downtown Freddie Brown in C tier. Whatever I say about Kyrie, everything else applies to Freddie. Same things apply to Freddie Brown. Fred VanVleet. Now, Freddie's pretty good. Freddie VanVleet is pretty good. I'm going to put Fred VanVleet in B tier. Oh, I don't know. That might be too low. He doesn't have the 3-ball or the rating or quite the defense of CB3, but he's taller. Oh, I might put Fred in A tier. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to put him in A. Glenn. Glenn could go into... I'm putting Glenn in S. I actually really rate Glenn very highly. I think his jump shot's good. I think his movement is good. I think his defense is really good. I think Glenn just kind of does everything, and it's kind of flown under the radar because a lot of people got him early. And if you were one of the people on PC that won 10 games in a row in draft and got him, you got banned, so you never got to use him. If you guys don't know, everyone who went 10-0 in the draft on PC since launch gets banned. It is like an instant ban. If you go 10-0, you get banned. Or you get Glenn Robinson. I don't know what it is, but literally on PC. It is hilarious. You literally, they're banning people for going 12-0 or for going 10-0. And if anyone submits a ticket to 2K about Steam, they don't even reply. It is hilarious. Gus Gerard A. Gus Gerard is like, he's very similar to Glenn. I think Glenn's better, but not by much. Really not by much. Jalen Green. I'm going to put Jalen Green in C tier. Really good release, really good movement. Again, I'm going to use him this weekend in Limited. I have been using him in Limited. And he's without doubt C tier. It's a no-brainer. That's where Jalen Green belongs. Jamal Wilkes. The funniest free throw animation I have ever seen on a player in my life. I'm going to put Jamal Wilkes in... I'm going to E tier. He's not unusable. He's not good, though. He's not good. He's very meh. Very mediocre. But his release is bad. His free throw is the funniest thing. Like, if it's one thing I will tell you guys, use Jamal Wilkes, and if you're ever using him, just draw a free throw. It will be probably the closest thing most people get to enjoying anything in 2K for that day. But we got Jamal Murray now. I'm putting Jamal Murray in B tier. I have not used the guy. I have not come up against him enough. I've seen his stats and stuff, and he definitely could be an A tier player. But from what I've heard, he moves a little bit sluggishly, so I'm gonna go B tier. Goatmere Godson, C. C. Like, he plays good defense, but he's 6 foot tall. He's got a good release. Like, Jameer Nelson is a player that I loved for his time, but his time was launch week. Time really was launch week. James Worthy. I'm putting James Worthy in B tier. If you can get his release down, Worthy's quality. The only real problem with him is that his release was terrible. That is the only real problem with James Worthy. His defense stats aren't great, but like lateral's good speed. Rebounding's a lie. His rebounding feels like his 99. He gets post spin with goal dream shake. James Worthy, I'm putting into B tier, and it's mainly because I agree with him. Jay Rich, B tier, good shooter, shoots the ball from deep, doesn't play too much defense. If you want to put him higher, that's fine. Jason Terry, offensively, he's like B tier. Defensively, he's like worthless tier. I think he's just worse Fred Brown, worse Kyrie Irving, so I'm going to put him in D tier, but he's not bad. He's not actually bad at all. Jeff Green. I think Jeff Green is getting into this overcrowded B tier right now. His release is so chicken. Like, his movement is decent. He runs the floor well. He dunks it. I think most people that replace Jeff Green ended up replacing him with worse players. And I always say that. It's like, just because he's a Ruby tier does not mean he's bad. I know a lot of people that have replaced Jeff Green in their squad with legitimately just worse players because they're higher tiers. So Jeff Green, you're going into B tier. Great card. Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, he doesn't exist yet, does he? So I'm going to move him to the end. Jerry Lucas. C tier. He's like a much worse version of Bob Pettit. I get it, he's got Ray Allen base. I don't like him. I don't like that release at all. Jerry Sloan. Jerry Sloan's going C tier, but man, I like Jerry Sloan. For me, he's like a slightly worse version of Cliff Hagan. His ratings aren't the greatest, but he's got the best badge like set. Dude comes with like Chef range extender or limitless spot up and a few other ones. He's got clamps as well. He's got like the best badge set of any of the base set cards is Jerry Sloan. Outside of maybe Goatmere. And Jerry Stackhouse, I mean, C. He's a mediocre defender, mediocre offensive player, so I guess C's probably there. Paxson. I'm putting Paxson in D tier. Mainly because, like, why would you ever get Jim Paxson? Like, he's got like a 76 3 ball. Yeah, he's got 86 ball handle, but like, how important is 86 ball handle when 80% of the 2 guards in the game get that? His release is not good in base 10. His defense is meh at best. Jim Paxson, I mean, I could move you down, but no, I'll give you that tier. Dr. J. I'm putting Dr. J in B tier. Again, if you know his release, he's pretty good. If you don't really know his release, he's going to struggle because his 3-point rating is not the highest, but I mean, with that Rudy base, with his dunking and stuff, he's quality. Dr. J is quality. He's the reason why a lot of competitive guys still to this day use this guy. Okay, then we got Junior Bridgman. I'm going to put Bridgman in C tier, but I do also want to let you guys know Junior Bridgman is significantly better in my team than expected. He is significantly better. Like, I didn't think this guy was good. Is he the 4th best Amethyst Token award? Probably. But still, he's so much better than the 5th best in Bob McAdoo. It's crazy. Cat. I gotta put Cat in B tier because I personally believe offensively he's an S tier center. Defensively he's horrific. And he's a lot worse, in my opinion, defensively than like a Blake. Because I don't know what it is. I just think Blake... Sorry, no. He's not a lot worse defensively. He's not quite as like one of a kind as Blake. He's nowhere near as good defensively as Pettit. And plays quite a similar offensive game. So Cat's going to go B tier. But I mean, if you want to move Cat to A tier, that's fine. He's a great value card. Kawhi S. Unless the other team's running CP3, he's the best on-ball defender in the game. One of the best catch-and-shoot players in the game with Ray Allen base. His handle is pretty okay because they make Kawhi Leonard's behind the back pretty good. So I'm going to put Kawhi right here into a S tier. I rate him. I do rate that card. Kelly Tripucka. I'm going to go like CB for him. I'll go C just because there's too many in B. But he's a good shooter. He's not bad. And like I'm looking forward to getting him in my own squad. Do I think he makes my team? No. I don't, but the dude's got an 89 3 ball. A good release. He's like way, way better Drazen Petrovic with a few defensive badges. So I reckon this is a good spot for him. Kemba. Kemba's going to go C tier. Because again, Kemba is that Kyrie type player that I don't rate. And I personally think Dame is a tier better than all of those guys. Like if you want to put Kemba, like if you, it's a weird one with Kemba. Because this is my tier list. And Kemba, Kyrie, Fred Brown, those guys do not suit the way I play with point guards. They really do not suit it. So if you are someone who's good with Kemba, do not let this video dissuade you. But what do you kind of... It's kind of hard to explain. Like, if you are a good dribbler, if you are a good three hunter, if you are a quote-unquote like high-skill player, even though in my opinion, it doesn't matter what way you put the ball in the basket. Once you put the ball in the basket more than your opponent, I don't care what's deemed as quote skillful or not. If you're mashing in the post because your opponent's deciding to run small players at center, more power to you. If you are point cheesing with Blake Griffin because your opponent is running Shaq and they're not going to be able to keep up with them, more power to you. For me, whatever way you put the ball in the basket is fine. But if you are someone who likes dribbling a lot, Kemba's spectacular. Kemba's there with Kyrie Irving in C tier. And again, did I concede 40 points to Kyrie Irving in a game? Yes. Was it playing on delay against one of the best players in the world? Yes. But Kyrie Irving in the right hands, just like Kemba Walker in the right hands and Fred Brown in the right hands, can torch people. The problem is that as much as I hate to say it, like I am not good enough at this game to effectively use Kemba Walker, Kyrie Irving, and Fred Brown. And I'm pretty confident most of you guys watching this are either A, not Pro-Am or Park point guards. And like good Park point guards. If you're a good Pro-Am point guard, these guys are perfect for you. But I reckon 95% of people watching this video are not that type of player and probably not better than me at the game. And if I'm not good enough, I really don't think that it's a player that I can really recommend to you guys because they are really high degree of difficulty players. If you know what you're doing with these three guys right here, they're exceptional. If you don't know what they're doing, they're three of the worst defensive point guards in the game and can get exposed. Kevin Love. I'm putting Kevin Love in the D tier. And again, a lot of people really do like Kevin Love because he shoots the ball. The problem is, actually no, I'll give him C tier. I'll give him C tier. He does that one thing really, really well. He does nothing else well on the floor. He does nothing else well except shoot the three ball. Like, you look, Cat's way better on defense than him. Blake's just way better player in general. I think C tier is fair. Kyle Lowry. I do not rate Kyle Lowry at all. Like, again, I know some people do. I do not think he's good. So I'm going to put Kyle Lowry in... I'm from in D tier. I don't think he's quite E tier. I don't rate him though at all. LaMelo getting to A. LaMelo does everything. He's got 80 lateral, 6'6", really nice player build, pro 3 behind the back, good dunk, good three-pointer, good release, decent on defense. LaMelo is spectacular. If you want to move him down to B, that's fine. He's definitely not S tier overall. He is definitely not S tier overall right now. I'm just going to put that out there. I think A tier is fine for him. Larry Bird. Now, this is an S tier player. This is the best power forward in the game. Potentially the best power forward in the game for a while. Guy gets every shooting badge. His release is money. His defense is really, really nice, especially on the perimeter. And he's got good interior defense as well. His speed is not terrible. It's not terrible at all. His release is good. Everything is good about this Larry Bird. So I'm going to go and put Larry Bird in S tier, and I think he well and truly belongs. Larry Keenan. If you can agree with Larry Keenan, he's B tier. If you can't, he's D tier. He's E tier, so I'm going to put him D tier. He's a really good defender. Problem is 59 3-point rating. Larry Markkinen. I rate Markkinen. I really do rate Markkinen. He's still going into D tier. I'm going to move Saric down one into E tier. I do think Markkinen is a little bit better than Saric, even though I do like Saric. But like again, Markkinen's not a terrible card, but compared to the other guys, is he as good as Kevin Love? No. Is he as good as Dwight? No. Fry? No. Okay, LeBron James. Now this is a very tough one. I'm gonna go S tier with LeBron, but LeBron cannot create. Screw it. No, I'm going A tier with LeBron. LeBron cannot create for himself. If you try to dribble the ball through the legs of LeBron James, he goes flat-footed and takes like 3 seconds. He's so hard to create with in this game. And yeah, I'm not putting like an elite cone in S tier. I'm sorry, like, that can't do anything else. At least Kawhi's got the moving behind the back. Kawhi can create a little bit. Darren Williams is better. Granger's way better than LeBron. LeBron's good. LeBron's best in A, and he might get moved up to S. Trust me, he might get moved up to S by the end of this video. I'm going to put him in A. Luka Doncic. I mean, B. He's fine. Like, he's not bad. For anyone who's like a big fan of Luka Doncic and is just interested in getting him, he's not bad. He's just not very good either. Okay, Manu Ginobili. He's so bad. He's so bad. Oh my god, he's so bad. He's going into worthless tier. He's shocking. He is shocking. Mark Eaton. I'm going to have to put Mark Eaton the same tier as like Artis Gilmore and stuff, because they're all just, and again, they're all just big bodies. Mark Eaton block shots better than the other guys, but I mean, is he as good? Like, he's slower. He does a lot of things not as well, so he's going to go B tier. Okay, Marcus Johnson, C. He does everything well, but I hate his release. Like, he has no negatives at all. His release is just so bad that it's not even funny. Like, 2K turned base 8 into what was a cheesy park jumper. It went from Dominique base from like 2K13 to 2K19. It was just known as like Dominique base, which was one of the best releases in the game. And then they turned it into one of the worst releases in the game. It went from one of the highest jump, the player or the release where players jump the highest, to a release where players barely leave the ground. It's a little bit like Aldridge base. They just ruined base 8 in Aldridge this year and last year. Or in base 8 was ruined in 20, Aldridge was ruined in 21. Okay, and we got Marvin Bagley. I mean, C. He's a stretch big. Like, he's better than Markkinen, but he's not great. Bagley's flawed. Michael Cooper, A. Michael Cooper, A tier, definitely. That defense is spectacular. Like, just that defense alone, I'm putting Michael Cooper in A tier. I think he's an elite stopper on the defensive end. And for me, he's like a poor man's Kawhi Leonard. Well, I say poor man's Kawhi Leonard, but he costs a lot more MP than Kawhi Leonard. Okay, Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is going to go... I'm going to C tier, but if you want to put him B, that's fine. Just realize I've been talking here for 40 minutes. I am literally about to fall asleep. I'm about to fall asleep while recording, so hopefully we can get another like 10 minutes into this. And then I can take like an hour or two nap. Okay, Money Mitch, A. I don't think he's quite S tier. Money Mitch is A tier. He's like him and Allen Houston, not Allen Houston, Dale Elsing are about the same standard. Otis Birdsong. I mean, he's 6'3" that can't play point guard. He's not bad. I mean, I'm going to put him D tier. He's not bad. He's good enough to make the list. But I mean, I can't put him higher than that. Okay, Pascal Siakam. B tier. I think he's the same level as Draymond Green. I think Siakam is a really, really good player. I think him and Draymond are very, very similar level players. And I think him and James Worthy are very similar level players as well. So I'm going to put him in this tier. And where did I... Yeah, put James Worthy. James Worthy, Siakam, and Draymond I think are very similar. Paul Westphal. Westphal's C tier, but Westphal was so good in week 1. First couple of days the game came out, Paul Westphal was incredible at the 2. He was incredible. Peja Stojakovic getting to worthless. He stinks. He's so bad. Like, some of these guys, like, you might actually argue, okay, he's better than some of these guys that are in, like, higher tiers. But, like, there are no players that, like, I have more emotions over being terrible than, like, Manu Ginobili and Peja Stojakovic. Like, you have to have a reason to be put down the bottom for me. And Peja has got one of the worst. I don't even mind set shot 4. It's just when you combine set shot 4 with a wonky upper, which Chris Paul's is, it's almost impossible to make a shot. Like, his shot, like, set shot 4 was fine with, like, Aaron Baines last year. But, like, Micah Finley, I hated it last year because they have Micah Finley on wonky upper. I thought set shot 4 was okay on Tyreke Evans because I got kind of used to the catapult. But if you put a wonky upper on it, it becomes almost unusable. Peja Stojakovic sucks, and he just won't dunk the ball. Just won't dunk it. Rajon Rondo, I do not know if he even exists. I think from looking at his stats, he's probably C tier. Ray Allen, C, B, B, C, C, B. I don't know. I don't rate him. I don't really rate Ray Allen at all. Again, another player that, like, you could argue Corey Kispert is better than. I'm going to go C tier because I don't think he's as good as Bradley Beal. I don't think he's definitely not as good as Houston. Richie Guerin. Richie Guerin's going B tier. He's good. Actually, like, Richie Guerin's a worse version of Darryl Griffith and David Thompson. I'm still going to give him B tier because I do like his shooting, but it's kind of a reluctant B tier. Rick Barry's so bad. He's got Manu base with a broken upper and, like, terrible stats. Like, he's down there with Calvin Murphy as, like, the 2 worst players on this list. He's terrible. Ron Boone, get into A tier, man. Where did I put Ron Boone? Where did I move Ron Boone to? Okay, I've currently lost Ron Boone. Oh no, he's here. He's bottom of D tier. Ron Boone's A tier point guards. Ron Boone's fantastic. Defensively, he's brilliant. Offensively, he's very solid with the Paul George base. Ron Boone, A tier. He just can't dunk. Ron Harper. I'm going to put Ron Harper low B just purely for his defense. He's going to go low B. He's pretty weak on offense, but he's a great defender. Rudy Gobert. You guys are probably going to call me crazy. C tier. He is the best shot blocker in the game. And I have been torched so many times in the draft and in triple threat off or online by people just going into the post with Rudy Gobert. I don't know what it is. His stats are terrible. They are terrible, but he makes everything. Is he probably D tier? Yeah, but I've had so many rough experiences playing against him that he's going C tier. I'm not crazy enough to put him into a higher tier. But man, if you are a big Jazz fan, you want to use Rudy Gobert, fire ahead. He has some great qualities in game. Sean Elliott, B, but I mean, I like Sean Elliott. I think in base set cards, he's up there with the best of them. He really is up there with the best base set cards. Ibaka, I mean, A. If you're looking for a stretch big, Ibaka's in A tier. Like, yeah, he gets eaten alive by Shaq. There's no question about that. He does get bullied by Shaq. But at the same time, like, it's not like Serge isn't, like, the single best player in the game at what he does. So, everything except rebounding. Serge is great. The big diesel. I'm putting Shaq in S tier because of, like, ease of use. Like, if you're up against a Serge or you're up against anyone realistically other than Shaq himself, Wilt, either Dikembe, Artis Gilmore, Kareem, or Gobert, Shaq will eat them alive and score every single possession. Like, it doesn't take skill per se to use Shaq, but it takes patience and strategy. If you are somebody that's not the greatest on the ball player, but you are good with patience, if you're a patient player in the post, if you're waiting for your defender to make a move, if you're just a player that likes to abuse mismatches, run a bunch of screen and rolls with his half brick wall, try to get switches. Shaq is the best player for that in the game, so he's going S tier. Okay, Sleepy. I don't rate Sleepy. I'm putting Sleepy in B tier. I've played against him enough times. I hate that upper with a passion. I think that upper ruins what could be a really, really good card. Steven Jackson, B, honestly. Honestly, B tier for Steven Jackson. A really good shooter, good speed, great defense. Like, just a brilliant, brilliant card. Steven Jackson is most definitely B tier. Then we got Stephon Marbury. And I'm putting Stephon Marbury in A tier. Like, I don't think he's that much different than D-Rose. And again, when I say that, they have all the same animations. D-Rose, stats-wise, I think Marbury might be a little better stats-wise. D-Rose better badges-wise. I think D-Rose having the half-quick first step is the real difference there, but they're so similar, I can't put them in different tiers. Nash. I don't mind Nash. I'm going to put Nash in high B tier. I know a lot of people do like Nash and would have him in A tier. I don't rate Nash as high as I rate Stephon Marbury. If you're asking me which one I would rather have, again, having used both, give me Marbury 10 times out of 10. Give me Rose 10 times out of 10. Give me like Kuzi 10 times out of 10 over Nash. But I mean, Nash isn't bad. He's just not spectacular for me. Terrence Ross. I don't rate Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross. Like, if I'm out here putting Caris LeVert in D tier, Terrence Ross is going to D tier. I think Caris LeVert's as good as Terrence Ross. No question about it. He's not going E tier. Tiago Splitter, I don't know why this guy's on the list. But you know what? You know what? He actually can be mediocre in certain scenarios. Especially if you're playing offline. So I'm not going to put him worthless. Like, he doesn't bring any... He probably shouldn't be on this list at all. But he doesn't bring any as many strong negative emotions as any of these other guys do. And he's not horrific. Tim Duncan, A. Definitely A tier for Duncan. His movement is good. His shooting is actually pretty decent. He can shoot very consistently from his hot zone in the right corner. His post game is really, really good. Defensively, I mean, he's fine. He's not great, but I'm going to put him into A tier. TJ Warren, D, C. Like, if you're asking me who I would rather run at the small forward position, TJ Warren or Stackhouse, I'm taking Stackhouse. I think stats-wise, I'm gonna have to put him in C tier, but I don't rate him at all. Tom Chambers, chest pass upper makes him rough. Like, he's rough. I think he's worse Jerry Lucas. Like, I hate that upper so much that I'm gonna put him in D tier. Walt Frazier. Now, this is an A tier player if we've ever seen one. This is the best defensive point guard in the entire game. If you have a 2 guard that can actually score beside him, that 2 guard doesn't need to play defense. Walt's just got to guard. Walt's just got to guard whoever the player is. Like, if Walt can catch and shoot. If you're asking me, can Walt hit shots? If he's wide open catch and shoot, he hits them at a high rate. He will not create at all. So you need a 2 guard there. If you've got someone like, for me, like a LaMelo, if you want to use just honestly anyone at the 2, he can be Walt's unbelievable as a defender at the 1. Wilt, I mean, if Shaq's in top tier, Wilt's got to be in top tier. They're very, very similar cards. Shaq, Wilt, Dikembe, those 3 are tough. If you come up against someone in a 3-center rotation of Shaq, Wilt, Dikembe, best of luck, because you're going to need it. And then last 2, World B. Free and Julius Ilgauskas. Big Z is a slow, big body. And because big bodies are important, as of right now, he's going to go C tier. He's slow, so he's not the greatest. But and later on in the year, when big bodies become less useful, he's not going to be there, but he's going to go C tier. World B. Freeze, kind of like a slightly better Jason Terry, but I'm going to put him into the same tier as Terry. So yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. This is my tier list. Not the greatest distribution. We've got a lot more players in the top 2 tiers than the bottom 2 tiers, but like, look, it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. We've been speaking for almost 50 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. This is the best players in my team tier list. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.